Hello, everyone. So excited to be doing another head talk with Josh Cuomo. So I give people a minute to jump on, and thanks for everyone who's coming on. Thanks for everyone who rewatches this. Just give Josh a second to jump on here, and we'll see who we've got. So for those of you who don't know, we've been doing this series of head talks with other industry people to kind of share our platform, let other people tell their stories, and we're just super excited to expand in this way. All right, there's Josh. And so today, I don't know if Tatum's going to be joining us, but she's in London right now. She said she might be able to jump on. Hey, Josh.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm actually in Los Angeles right now. I just went to the Long Beach Hair Show, the ISSC show.
Oh, that's right. How was it?
It was good. They had it was a little bit smaller than normal, a little bit less crowded, but come to find out they had the IBS show going on in Vegas, and I think a lot of people just couldn't make it this year. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
the vendors that were there, they put on some good stuff. I ran into some old friends, Leche, Queen of the South. So it was a good time. I got to connect with a lot of people.
Amazing. Those are always fun because it's always like, oh yeah, it's like a reunion.
Yeah, and it was inspiring. I even sat in on a couple of classes. So I learned a little bit too.
Excellent. Excellent. So are you working today after this, or are you finished?
No. Today I think I'm gonna head to Malibu Beach. I'm gonna sit down, relax, listen to some audiobooks, and recharge, and then get back to work tomorrow morning.
Perfect. Well, thanks for giving up your morning for.
Oh, of course.
Excellent. Well, yay. So, I mean, we'd love to hear a little bit about you and your journey and everything. So,
Um,
open-ended.
so I was like the 5-year-old that left to go get haircuts. I remember getting my first product in comb when I got literally 5. I had the flat top. But anyway, as time progressed, I was thinking I was about 13. I was wanting to cut my hair some crazy ways, and my parents didn't really like it. But anyway, I had an older cousin that cut hair, and I said, "Who cuts your hair?" And because he was starting to cut mine, I kind of looked up to him, and he said, "I cut it myself." So how you do that? He said, "You just go up with the clippers, change your guards." I said, "I could do this." So I got a pair of clippers for my 13th birthday. And I sat my little brother down and said, "Hey," I said, let me cut your hair. I said, "I'll cut it with a number 4. And if I mess up, we'll bring you to the barbershop. They'll fix it with a 2." And I think that's always been my way of doing hair is cut small and then, progress. But anyway, went to college at like 18 after high school. I had a college scholarship, and then did 2 semesters. I was like, I was over school. So I kind of thought, what I'm into. And I worked in construction with my dad. And all through high school, I was like, I don't want to work outside for the rest of my life. So I said, I'm good at this. I like it. And I said, I'll figure it all out, after I get started. So went to school, finished like literally the month before I turned 21. And I like to tell this story too. I got an interview, and the lady said, "When can you start?" I said, "In a week from now." She said, "Why a week?" I said, "So I'm going on vacation, but I wasn't going on vacation. I just wanted to have my birthday week, Yeah, I did hair for close to like when I turned 29. I had a full clientele. I was busy, and then everybody in my town was like, "Why don't you have your own place?" Owning a salon was never really my dream, and so if I said 29, I was hitting 30, and I was like, I need to do something. So I opened the salon up, and then I guess a year and a half later, that's when I started doing the products. And I don't know if you want to jump into that quite yet, but that was my backstory up until where I'm kind of at now with my journey.
Amazing. Yeah, it is funny because I said that for years and years that I never want to work for myself. I never want to own a salon. And then suddenly you blink and it's happening.
Yeah. And I did it quick too, because I turned 29. I said I'm gonna open a salon in a year, and I think I did it. My birthday was in June, and I opened up in February. So I was like, I did it, in 8 months. So I was pretty proud of myself.
And it happens fast. When it happens, it's happening.
And I gotta when I'm trying to decide something, I don't give myself too much time because I'll back out of everything, So I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I remember the first day getting into the salon, I was like, what did I do? I said, I just opened a business with people working for me. Like I scared myself, and I was like, snap out of it. I was like, this is what you wanted. I literally in 5 seconds, I was like, snap out of this. And I was like, walked in the door and said, let's go.
Amazing. Amazing. And then so own a salon, and then you got into products. I would love to hear the story of Colormap.
Well, it started out actually before that. I had the salon, I think it was about a year and a half into it. During Christmas, I had an older cousin came in, and we started talking. She had a few businesses, and she said, why don't you have your own product line yet? I said, you got to be famous or rich to do that. She was like, no, you don't. She said, because she had a paint line she created. She said, all you have to do is find a manufacturer. You tell them what you want. You start getting samples made, and then you can tweak it, She's like, they all chemists. That's what they do. This is not your job. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I started with the first product I created was called Monte Rio Hair and Body Oil. Sorry. And the reason I chose oil first, because the brand I was using in my salon, I didn't necessarily love that oil. It didn't absorb good. It didn't add a lot of value, but oil was always my go-to product. When I worked for somebody else, I loved their oil, and it's what repaired the hair, made the hair feel the best, the fastest. Like on the instant, you didn't have to necessarily buy a nice shampoo and conditioner, but if you had like an awesome oil that really worked, you can get that luxury feeling without spending a bunch of money. So I was like, well, oil's gonna be my first product, and then. So I learned how to do that, and then I started reaching out to some friends. I was like, then they had the crazy idea of, hey, if I get this to LA, it'll come west, which I probably jumped the gun on that too fast. Looking back, they say you build your customer base before you start spending money on marketing. So that was one of my lessons learned. But anyway. One of my friends in my hometowns had a friend that was a celebrity makeup artist. So I started making my trips to LA. She started introducing me to some celebrity stylists. I did get the product out here. I got into Nigel's Beauty Emporium. And I got into the film industry too, because my other friend's sister worked in the film industry. So I started sponsoring film. Then a year and a half later, I'm in the salon, super, super busy. Guy with silver hair, and I didn't do vivids a lot. I never had, I didn't really do that since hair school. I got busy with blonding. I got busy with hair cutting. Hair cutting is probably what I like to do the most, because I can see shapes. I can visualize. It comes natural to me.
Yep.
But yeah, Colormap. So I buy 3 grains of silver. Guy was like, I want more of a blue base silver. I said, all right, so put the 3 colors on a napkin. And I was like, well, this one looks the most blue. Like I said, I'm not thinking color theory at all. I'm just like, let's go, let's go. And I bleached him out twice because he wasn't getting to that. I knew I had to get him pretty light for silver. I didn't know that. Well, to apply the color, they have some little yellow spots left. And it turned green. Blue and yellow make green.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I said, but in that instant of me swatching the colors, I was like, and I knew they had some yellow left, so I was like, but I wasn't thinking how I was going to react. But it's like, if this napkin would be yellow, I could see this color better. So after the color didn't come out right, I was like,
Gotta go to Wendy's.
I know I could, like, I know how to do manufacturing now, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was listening to a lot of motivational stuff and business stuff. And they say, if you got anything that saves time or money, you got something. And that little voice popped in my head. I said, this would save me a lot of time and money. So anyway, started working on Colormap. But I was like, I want it to be more than a napkin. I want it to be something of value, something that you can save. So started doing my research and then started designing it. And then we came up with Colormap. And I was like, you know, let's have all the shades. So we got red, orange, a brassy tone, yellow tone, pale yellow, and white. Mm-hmm. And that's how Colormap came to be.
Amazing.
That instant need and messing up.
Amazing. I mean, well, I feel like it's the funniest thing because in school that was always the like, oh yeah, test out your colors on a paper towel, and it's funny because like, yeah, in theory, like you kind of see what you have, but like how like genius it was like, oh yeah, so
the Vivids will change on the swatches because the swatches are absorbent. Mm-hmm. They thick. It's a thick paper, and so like you really see the Vivids come out true to tone. It's pure color theory and it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. So like when I was getting it made, the manufacturer's like, I can't, like, this is a big project. We can't make samples. You have to place the order. So our first order was 2,000 books. I opened the first and I was like, I hope this works. And it worked.
Well, and then they're absorbent and they're like oxidative or something, right? Is that what I?
Well, it's absorbent. It's made like a paper towel. You know, it's thick. Okay. It's like a colored cotton. So it soaks up the color like your hair would.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's hard enough to where you can save the swatches. Perforate the edges like the width of a color brush, mm-hmm. And you can write on them. So like if you have the formulas, if you did 2 parts purple, 1 part blue, whatever, you can actually write it, clip it to your client card, or just have, you know, a stack of just all your swatches. Mm-hmm. And that way you can show your clients different tones that would work on their hair. You can let them choose. You get them involved. You can actually like add your pastel purples, your pastel blues to cancel out unwanted tones. And this is my favorite part. Like in my instance, I had 2 different tones. I had that little band, and then I had the pale yellow. So like you can make a color that looks good on both. You know? Yeah. So and then we also been using them to teach color theory. You know, Danielle, which is aka Geeks Get Glam. Mm-hmm. She's headlining the education and the lives for me. So we want to start teaching more on color theory and how to do pivots with any color line. So that's what we're focusing on right now, is teaching whatever color line you're using, you know, how to make it better, how to get your clients involved. So that's what we're working on this year.
Yeah. And so anyone that's on here, if you have questions for Josh, we would obviously love to answer those. But I think it's definitely, it's crazy because I've always said like doing Vivids is this like special like level of color theory that you have to understand, right? Where you can kind of like fudge things with natural colors to a certain degree, right? But when you're doing Vivids, you have to like fully know what you're doing. You have to fully know what that end result's going to be. And if you can take the guesswork out of like, okay, well, this brand's blue is actually this, and this brand's blue is actually that, like it's incredible.
Yeah, because every color line you use, they have a different base. Some are green base, some are blue base, and then unless you're doing the Vivids all day long and like you really master that color line, or if you got the education from the color line, you know, not everybody can go to the classes. Some classes don't come to them. So I think it's a very helpful tool to save you time. And
Absolutely. Yeah. And I use them all the time for like, and I don't necessarily do that many vivids, but I do use them all the time because they're just like so valuable. You know exactly like how things are going to react, right? And like I love using them with a demi permanent, and you swatch things out, wipe off the extra color, and you get a really good idea of what things are going to look like.
that's, I think we're gonna start after we get a lot of the vivid education out the way. We're gonna start doing the toners too, because the toners work pretty good on it. The problem with that, you have to kind of rinse them out. And you only let toners sit on for so long.
Yeah.
But you still get the visual aid you need to get the exact tone you want.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we're focusing on the vivid scene right now. But we're building up.
Yeah. And it's I don't know. I think at point in line, Tatum finally jumped on here. We are definitely, we're all about anything that helps everyone, right? So I think when it comes to like super branded, like big brands and everything, it doesn't necessarily help everyone to focus on those, but tools like the color maps are incredible because it's like, let's help everyone do better work, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was our goal too. Is like let's help everyone because it's like not just for one brand. You can use it for multiple brands, and even your platform artists, they still have their favorites in every line. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they not everybody's. Rarely is anybody one brand,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Yeah.
when you know, like with the vivid artists are artists, so they use whatever works.
Yeah.
So it's just whatever's
That's the secret, right?
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
it's been an exciting journey. I'm learning a lot. I'm still learning a lot, and then I kind of made some mistakes. You know, I think I know everything, but you know,
well,
you live.
yeah.
Like I'm
So
learning to. I just got a what's it called? My mind just went blank. But basically, it's a sales program. You know, it's like how to keep. It's called Airtable.
yeah.
It's project management, like sales management software. But it's just like how to keep everything organized, how to touch base back with people, how to, you know, it's the business side of things, and that's what I'm learning now to like really try to grow the company right now. So it's just, and I was hard on myself. Like I was like, man, I messed up this, I messed up that, but it's just like, you know, you never took a business course, you know, so it's like
Exactly.
you learn and give yourself a little bit of break because you're not gonna keep going if you're just too hard on yourself. Is the way I look at it.
Yeah. And none of us are ever fully prepared for those things. I'm gonna add Tatum into the mix here. My counterpart. She finally let her jump in here, let the internet catch up. Oh,
Oh my
hello.
gosh. Hi.
Hello.
I don't know how loud this is going to be or not. I'm actually, guys, I was watching, but I am in England on a school trip with my son. And so I'm on a bus right now. And for some reason, my headphones are not working with this. But Josh, I'm so excited that you came on today, and I use color maps for everything. We use it in our salon every single day. And yeah, I just wanted to jump in and say hello. We're so excited to have you today. And I can't wait to see what kind of education you're doing moving forward. Can you guys hear me, or is it noisy in the background?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
it's fine.
Okay.
So I mean, speaking of business, like learning the ropes with business, because that is something we're all like thrown into.
Yeah.
Do you have, I would love like your funniest like business learning story.
The funniest, uh,
Or like one that sticks out the most, where you were like, oh.
trying to think. I can tell you like this much: getting a patent that was a tricky situation. And not necessarily tricky, but it was just there was a lot of like writing stuff out, how like building writing the diagrams, and like you explaining to a lawyer about something that comes very natural to you, but for them to put it on paper and to fully understand the concept, I mean, it was long conversations, and it's like them not understanding. I was like, this is so simple, but they was like, I don't get it, you know. And then he was on the phone, his secretary was on the phone writing all the notes, so she's asking questions, they asking questions, and then literally I mean, it took I think 2.5 years for the patent to come out. So it's like you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's like, will it go through? And it's like it gets kicked back, so you gotta put up more money, and then it's like you gotta amend some stuff, and then it's just like you're waiting again. So that was the learning curve.
Sure, yeah.
And I guess the other one would be is shipping overseas. So the Lines Direct out of the UK is one of our big distributors. And they killing it, you know, they really are, but it's learning how to ship, you know, a pallet of products overseas going through customs, getting all the weights right, the invoices, the payments. So you have to learn your banking codes.
Oh
You know, there's a certain bank code every bank uses. So it's just, that was interesting. But it's like you knock it out, and then when they reorder, it's like, it's quick. It's like you learn, like, and there was they were one of my first distributors. So I didn't know how to speak to them. It was like, what are you looking for? They wanted exclusivity for the UK for a certain amount of time, which, they deserved it. They did it. But I was also speaking, this is a funny story. When I was working on the products, I'm working out in the gym. I'm about to leave. I'm getting a smoothie. And I hear a guy speaking about patents, building a product. So I'm kind of over listening. I said, I'm not scared to talk to anybody, which is a good thing to be, like, if you're trying to start a company, because you got to learn. But anyway, he finished the conversation. So I walked over and then I asked him about the patent stuff. He starts answering questions. So I started asking more questions, and he's replying, and all of a sudden he's like, wait, why are you asking me all these questions? I said, well, listen, I said, I started a product. I said, everything's getting started, and I'm just trying to learn some stuff. He said, I'm a consultant. He said, I charge for all this advice. But he said, man, you remind me of me when I was your age. So he said, yeah, just ask me. So, the next 6 months we was in the gym. Every time I saw him, he asked me how everything's going, and then I would tell him, and it was just a huge help. But it happened by accident, So that was a blessing,
Yeah.
But I think that's one of my favorite stories too.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, it is funny how you find yourself in like the perfect place at the perfect time. So
I was gonna tell you this too. My I guess perfect place is the airport, because this trip I met somebody, and we were sitting on the airplane, and I think I woke up on accident. I was like, I'm sorry. We started talking. We have a 2-hour conversation about business. I went to the Connecticut show a couple weeks ago. The lady sat across from me. She opened her laptop and said, you got some work to do? She said, yeah. She helped me out with some business stuff. So it's just like, I love the airports for that reason. I always meet the best people.
Yeah. I mean, well, and so obviously you have Danielle, Geeks Get Glammed, helping you at this point. But prior to that, were you just like a single person operation? Is that what I'm gathering?
No, when I first started Colormap, one of my good friends, we actually opened the business together. He went to college for business, and then, as time went on, he had other stuff going on. So, but his name's Tom Reinhardt. He helped me get started.
Okay.
And then, I had a lot of other people along the way. Liz Shuffler, she helped me do a lot of graphic design work. Uh, my friend Keegan helped me do the website. My other friend Alex helped me do the website. She helped me do the Shopify more or less. And then I had a buddy named Austin. He kind of showed me a lot of social media stuff. So it's like a lot of good help, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have the products at the house. I have a little office set up. I have the shipping station set up. So we get the orders in and get them shipped out. But yeah, it's a lot of work. And
That's
it's like,
incredible.
It is a lot of work, but that's so incredible. And I love that you're doing this so much just like out of your house. And it sounds like you have such a great supportive team around you.
oh yeah, and I mean, I've met a lot of people just through Instagram and going to the hair shows. You know, go to the hair shows that have book sack full of color maps and start talking to people. And then, you know, it's like, hey, can you try this out? And they post about it. And then it's just, yes, I couldn't even name all the people that helped out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's interesting too, because I'm very much and I know Tatum to a certain degree is like this as well, where in an airport or on an airplane, I'm a very like, don't talk to me. I've got headphones, sunglasses. Now we like have masks on. That is an excuse to have a mask on, like completely covered up. Don't talk to me. But I remember a mentor years and years ago. I was kind of like on my own in like it was some kind of like event, and I was like gathering my introverted self, and she was like, well, so like what are your goals, what do you want to do? When we had this conversation about it, she goes, well, you're not gonna get to any of those, you're not gonna like get any farther if you don't talk to anyone in this room. So I think it's interesting to have those vulnerable moments with people, like complete strangers, and like, oh yeah, so tell me about X, or tell me about, and you learn something from every one of those interactions. So I think that's super cool that you're on an airplane and like, oh yeah, I just learned something from this woman sitting next to me. Like,
Well, the best thing I can tell you I've ever done with something to that degree, when I was 29 and I was opening a shop, I said, I hadn't been to a hair show probably in 6 years at that point. Because when I hit about 24, I started getting super busy in the salon, and I mean, busy. And I think at that point too, I was inspired, so I didn't need nothing, right? But anyway,
yep.
So yeah, because from 21 to 24, I went to a lot of shows, I learned a lot of things, and I just started putting all that to use. But 29, I was like, first of all, I want to be the most innovative salon in my town, so I want all the newest stuff. Or like, you know, what's out there? Because I think we were still taking appointments by book at my old salon. So I was like, we had just switched to a computer system. But anyway, I go to Premiere Orlando, and I mean, I literally booked the trip 2 weeks out before because I just found out about it. And I get into this show, and I'm like, they got 40,000 people, and I was like, okay, you're gonna talk to somebody, or I'm just gonna be bored, you know. And I was on that trip by myself. So anyway, I met a bunch of cool people. I learned that. Now, when I started the products, same thing, except with I was talking to hairstylists, because I was on that trip by myself, and I was like, I'm either gonna be bored, or I'm gonna meet some people by the pool, or meet some people at the show. So that kind of took me out of my comfort zone. And then when I started the products, I was like, I'm trying to meet these influencers to get them to use the product. I was like, I've done this before, you know? You can do this. But it's like you get stuck, and it's like you got to talk yourself out of it. And that was one of the things I learned is like, what you've done before, you can do again. And then another good book I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People. So if you're shy, or if you don't know how to get a conversation started, the simple example is ask them a question, make them talk, you know, and then more than likely they'll ask about you, and then you get the conversation rolling. So it's just the little small pieces of information that help you along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you learn more by asking questions than.
And the worst, though, you have to ask yourself this: what's the worst possible case scenario? They won't say nothing. There's gonna be a dead silence, and then and that happened to me before because when I moved to California, got a job in Beverly Hills, and I was walking around all the businesses, asking to speak to managers, passing out my cards. Hey, I give you a free blowout. They literally had one lady, and she just looked at me, and I was like, well, listen, if you ever need a blowout, and I left. She didn't say nothing, and I was like, man, that's really the worst case possible scenario that's going to happen is dead silence, and then you just say thank you very much, and you walk away.
You move on with your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, so then what's next? So you've got more education you're working on and building that up, but what's next?
What's next? We working on a new color map right now. So over the last couple of years, you know, everybody says, I ask them how they like it, what pages were they using, and I put the red and orange pages in there so we could teach with it. But it's not really, most people can get hell out of than that. So I think we're going to take out some of those pages, maybe just leave one red, one orange for teaching purposes, but we're adding some more colors to it. We want to do the color shift, like the pinks, the blues, the greens. We're going to add more pale yellow pages. And then, like I said, definitely working on putting out more content. And the last couple of years with COVID, I moved to LA trying to, you know, make some stuff happen. I was just chasing a dream. So although over the last couple of years, I got a little behind in my personal schedule, well, you know, of the business growing, but, you know, you live and learn. Some things are uncontrollable. But yeah, Danielle's been an excellent source of help with organizing. We're doing more lives. We're looking for more artists to actually teach for us and help us out, you know, have our own educators with different brands, not just one. So like we're looking for more artists to promote and help us educate. And I think that's our main focus, grow our YouTube channel. That way, you know, you have constant education. Yeah, and then I think our big goal for next year is to host our own events, you know? So yeah, we have a lot working.
Yeah.
So if anybody,
and so then you work in a salon as well on top of all of this. Okay.
Yeah. So I have and right now I'm working about 5 days a week. I'm doing at least 40 to 50 hours a week.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was like having Danielle help is nice. And I think I want to get one more person on board for sure to help with more the marketing side, you know, more of the emails, the newsletters, and you know, have that all in a strategic way. And I would like to do my podcast again, and I've been debating on this because I had people reach out. I used to have the Josh Como show, and I had like literally in the last 3 or 4 months, I had people reach out and say, "Hey, what's your podcast?" I was like, kind of just out of time. I mean, I kind of stopped it because like when COVID happened and, you know, we was trying to figure everything out, like, do I move back to Louisiana so I could keep everything going because LA stayed shut down for so long. I'm not even gonna lie, I just got uninspired. Like, I was like, man, it just got tough, you know? But like when people say that, I'm like, yeah, I do want to do the podcast. I do want to, you know, it would be a way to promote some business, but it's like, you got to edit. You got to find guests. You got to, you know, promote it. And it's like, I'm just trying to do everything more strategic. And I got a couple ideas for the next couple podcasts too, but it's like, stay focused, Josh, stay focused. You can do that a little bit later, you know?
One thing at a time.
Yeah. Like once you get the extra help, then you can start the podcast. And it's like, man, I've been jotting my ideas down. That way, when, you know, we can crank it up, I can crank it up. Because I like doing stuff like this. You know, I almost feel a little rusty right now, but it's,
I mean, yeah. It's interesting because the podcast is I don't know, it doesn't seem like it should be as much work as it is until you get into it, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, so 4 days on this 1 hour of content.
Yeah, and then you got promoted. That's like,
And then you gotta promote it.
you know, you got to make, because it's not worth doing if you know you're not getting enough.
Yeah.
That's so funny because when we were coming back to do the fourth season of the podcast, I was like, I don't understand why we can't just do it every week. And then it came time for like post-production things, and Cody was like, do you see this now? Like, this can't be. I'm like, yeah, we can do it all the time. Why can't we put out like an episode or two a week? I don't understand. I'll stick to doing it.
You got guests. You know, if you want to be a good interview, you should research a little bit. That takes time. You know, jot some ideas down. That takes time. And then if you're doing video like this, that takes a lot of extra time. And then you got to post it to YouTube, post it to the other platforms. It's just, it's a lot more work than you think.
Yeah. No one warns you.
No. But I mean, if you would get warned about how much work you might not have a start. So that's why I was like, I'll give some people some, if they ask for help, like, I'll give them 3 things, and I'm like, you say any more, they're going to back out. Like, if somebody would told me how hard the products business would be, I probably would have backed out, you know? But let's just take one thing at a time.
Right, right.
And,
But
I would say I had an idea for a shampoo bowl when I was about 25. You know, a new shape. And I built it out of fiberglass myself. I had my buddy help me like finish it. And then I think I just had like I went through a breakup or something. I put the bowl in the closet, but it's like I got stuck on the business plan. I got stuck on the manufacturing side. And I worked a year on that bowl. And then like 2 years later, I'm like, man, I ain't do nothing with it. You know, I was kind of bad for starting stuff and not finishing it. So, but it's just, when you got to break down those first little barriers of entry. And so when I started on the oil, I'm like, okay, don't give up this time. Like, learn how to do a business plan. And I used a thing called liveplan.com. There was some software. So if anybody's looking to learn how to do a business plan, I think it was $120 for the year. They have all the resources you need. Because I think a lot of people struggle with business plans. So I want to throw that out there. That helped out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think too, like you're saying, it's like, yeah, go ahead. No, okay. Like you're saying, you kind of, it's us that are like working in the trenches, right? That have these moments where it's like, okay, I need my shampoo bowl to be this shaped, or I need, you know, I wish this napkin was this color, or like so many different things. But then we're like not equipped to actually like execute the ideas. So it's really, and it takes a lot of work to go through and figure out, okay, this is how a business plan works, or even to open a salon, right?
Yeah.
This is how a business plan works. This is how like profit and loss works. This is how QuickBooks works, whatever it is. And I don't know if you could come out with business training like that and all of your, that would be great.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this though. It's literally, you have to find that motivation in you to go look for it. So, and you can find anything you want out how to open on the internet. Like I learned how to open up a Delaware C Corp just from watching YouTube videos. And once you start watching the YouTube videos, like you'll find resources. And like when you get stuck, I have to ask myself like, okay, is this really what you want? You know? You have to have those internal conversations to keep you going. Because like I said, in my 20s, I talked a lot. I had a bunch of good ideas. And then my clients were like, well, how's this coming along? And it's like I talked about it so much, I didn't even do it. And I'm like, and then that would kind of get me discouraged. And I think that's what threw me over the edge to do the salon. And that's why I did it so fast, because I was like, if I don't just knock this out, I'm not going to do it. You know, because I kind of learned myself looking back over the years. Like the shampoo bowl, I talked about that. I actually made it, and then I kind of just gave up on it. So it's just like, okay, don't be like your old self again. But like, it is nice to have everything like say, but they have those platforms out there. to learn the business side of things. But it does take time, and it's like you really just have to keep yourself going. It's like, is this what you want? Because if it is, you'll put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like, start asking. Don't be scared to ask for help, because the more brains you got working on it, the better. Like when I said, I met that guy in the gym. He just helped me out. Like, that's just,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna need it.
And the worst that happens is they say no, or they don't say anything, like you said. Yeah.
And you take it as a learning experience, right? So it's everything I kind of done is like, okay, this is gonna make it. This is gonna make it, and then it doesn't happen as fast as you think. So it's like, or then you mess up. So it's like, okay, but if you treat it as a learning experience, like the whole way, it keeps you going. And I was like, that was a tough lesson for me to learn. Is like, stuff doesn't always work out. Like in my 20s, everything I kind of did worked out, and then when this was something that really is important to me, it doesn't work out. It hurts a lot harder.
Yeah.
So this is great because this just tied into what I was going to say before and what I was going to ask, because we all know I'm the one who does this and asks this question. So you're obviously very enterprising. You've got lots of incredible business ideas. You try a lot of things. So I want to know, number one, what is the thing that you're working on right now that feeds your soul the most? And number two, do you have any advice for people who are just like really trying to expand and try something different and move their career in a different area or whatever? Like, how do you deal with those setbacks, because they're very important? We have to have them. And how do you deal to like push forward?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are some of your like best practices there? So, all of the stuff that feeds the soul.
I would say one of the best advice I learned is when you're trying to do a lot, take some breaks in between. Because I've done that. You're trying to do a lot. So one, you'll mess up if you're trying to do too much at one time because you're not giving yourself time to think. Yeah, definitely learn how to take some breaks. And it don't have to be a long break. It could be a half a day, because I grew up working with my dad in construction, and we just worked hard. But when you're trying to build something, I think you think ahead. Do that reverse engineering, and that's where business plans come into play. Because I used to just go, and just figure it out. But it's if you take a little bit of time, you break it down in a business plan, you reverse engineer it. That helps a lot. The other one, like I said, is don't be so hard on yourself. Treat everything as a learning experience. Don't be afraid to Google stuff, because as soon as you learn something and you think you got it, you're going to learn something else, and then you'll miss them. Like, it'll all get confusing again. And then, so that helps me keep going. But learning how you operate would be the probably best, is learning yourself and what works for you. I would say that's probably the hardest, because it's a lot of self-reflection. I think I could do it all, and then I can't. And then what I've been kind of struggling with is keeping myself motivated, because like I said, I've been probably working on these products for 5 years now, between the oil and the book. And it's just, when it first started, you pumped up, and then it was kind of like with a salon too, though. It gets stagnant. It's learning how to like keep it going. So to answer your second question, learning more about the business side is what I'm working on right now, and how to actually grow it as a business and make it to what I had dreamed in my head in the beginning. And that's been really inspiring to me. And it's been the most difficult, but I think the most difficult is what gives the biggest reward. So I think that both of them.
Yeah. I think she finally lost her connection on this bus. I'm impressed that she somehow showed up. Well, so I mean, we got a couple more minutes here. So what do you have like upcoming education that you want to talk about or
We've been doing the lives once a month. Uh,
okay.
that's been, I think that's been our main forum, and then we're taking the lives and putting them on YouTube. So any artists that want to teach or like use Colormap and have some great ideas about how to teach better with it, we are looking for that. Because I just saw Kristen Mann join. She was teaching the other day how to heat up the swatches and stuff. It's like I didn't even think about that. You know, I thought I learned thought of a lot of good ways to use it, but who else was telling me something? But like some people like to use it to mix the colors on certain swatches of hair on how they look good next to each other on that swatch. You know, so I think that's been our main form of our education right now is going to be YouTube. We'll do the snippets on TikTok. And then, but yeah, we also looking to start doing some more events live. So we've been sponsoring a lot of stuff, but we want to start putting on together our own. And that's pretty exciting, you know?
Yeah.
Because I like to host events and put stuff together. So I was like, man, maybe this would be my part, you know, I could do. But yeah, the YouTube's Josh Cremo Hair, the Instagram's Josh Cremo Hair, TikTok's Josh Cremo Hair. And a lot of people don't know how to pronounce Como. It's actually just C-O-M-O, but it's French. And the E-A-U-X is pronounced O. So that's the easiest way to say it.
There you go. There you go.
But if anybody needs some help with, you know, business advice or how to start a product, I'll just reach out, DM me, and I'll be glad to share a couple of things to get you started. Because and that's another thing too I can mention. You know, you start reaching out to people, and people will help you. But you have to take into consideration, because people get like, I mean, I even did. I would reach out to people, they help me, and then I reach out again, and they stop answering. You have to remember, these people are very, very busy. Like, don't take it to heart. Because I've done it too. People reach out, and I'm like, 2 months later, I'm going through my DMs, and I see something, I forget. I'm like, man, I forgot to reply. And I was like, I feel bad, but it's, you know, we're just all super busy. So like if you are trying to learn something new and you're reaching out to people, don't get mad if they don't reply. You have to understand, it's like even going to the hair shows. I would meet somebody, come back, meet them again, they forget who I am. I'm like, I met this person 5 times. But I know I meet a lot of people, and people come up to me and I don't remember them. So you have to lose that ego about yourself, and put yourself in other people's shoes. And I think that just helps you grow as a person too. Like, somebody might just be having a bad day. Like, so don't get discouraged if you can't get all the help you need, and don't count on getting all the help you need, because you might not. But when you do it yourself, you learn more, and everything you learn along the way, you'll need, you know. Like I had somebody helping one time, and this is where I messed up. I had her set up my online store. I didn't know how to do it. You know, when something went wrong, I was like, man, I should have learned this. Even with the email marketing stuff, I should have learned it in the beginning. But I was just like, I'm gonna get these people. Like, people were helping me out, and it was nice. But I didn't. If I learned it back then, I've been further along right now. So don't make excuses. Just put your head down, get the work done. I think that's the best thing you can do.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, excellent. Well, thanks for giving us your Monday morning.
Oh.
I know it's early out in LA.
It's it was 8 o'clock when we hopped on. I ain't gonna lie, I snoozed. I had my alarm set for 6:45, and then I think I snoozed that time, snoozed at 7, and then snoozed at 7:15, and at 7:20, I was like, I gotta get up.
It's time. It's
Oh
time.
yeah. But
Well,
yeah,
thanks. Yeah.
my biggest piece of advice is learn how you work best. Don't be scared. I went to Ireland last week with a little family vacation, and on the Jameson Crest logo it said Metu Sinu or something like that. But it was John Jameson's slogan for his family. It was like "Live without fear," and I was like, yeah. So it's how they
All
say
right.
happiness is on the other side of fear, and it's like, don't be scared, just go for it. You'll figure it all out. And if you get discouraged, just tell yourself to keep going. But it's a lot of talking to yourself in your head and then making sense of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I do a lot of that too. So that
You
makes
have
me feel
to,
better.
Yeah, you have to. So,
Incredible.
but I
Well,
really
thank you.
appreciate this. It was
Yeah.
a good opportunity.
Amazing. Yeah. Everyone go follow Josh Cuomo Hair, and he on and an amazing YouTube channel too from the
Yeah,
sounds of it.
please. How they say it, like, subscribe, and share.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Excellent.
thank you so
Well,
much.
great.
Man.
Talk to you soon. Enjoy your Monday.
Thank you. You have a great day too. Thank you, everybody.